Weekdays at Bernie segment tonight. We believe the Factor's coverage of Benghazi, the IRS, and the AP snooping around has been fair. If you disagree, please let me know by email. Over at CNN, they've not covered those stories all that much, and there is a slightly skeptical tone.
Can you see in your mind's eye a way that this might not have been political, that this was a misguided, stupid way to sort, but that they didn't intend it to be some kind of political attempt to harass the Tea Party?
I would think that if there was any chance that this was a mistake, the Investigator General wouldn't be coming out and saying otherwise, and the IRS themselves wouldn't be admitting that they made some mistakes.
Well, they say it's a mistake. The question is whether it's political.
Now, yesterday I talked with Bernie Goldberg about the CNN situation. Anything wrong with Ms. Crowley's posture?
You know what? I'm not going to lose much sleep over her asking if it was a mistake instead of it being political. And she gave him a chance to answer. But it does fall into the broad category of a reporter asking a scientist, is it possible that the Earth is flat? Because the chances of the Earth being flat are exactly the same as the IRS thing being simply a mistake. But, Bill, there's something much bigger going on here, and it's how the mainstream media, so-called mainstream media, cover scandals in general. If it's a Republican scandal, it's always covered as a scandal. But if it's a Democratic scandal, it's covered as how are these cynical Republicans going to take advantage of this for political points. A classic example, page 1 of the New York Times a week ago. Page 1. This is a headline you can't make up. IRS focus on conservatives gives GOP an issue to seize on. IRS focus on... Now, come on. In other words, the story isn't the IRS abuse. It's how is the GOP going to seize on this? I have two more examples. The Associated Press, you know, the gold standard of American journalism. So they write a story that says, the scandals dogging President Obama are a political gift to Republicans, but it's unclear how they're going to capitalize on this politically. Again, story's not about the abuse. The story is about how are Republicans going to take advantage of it. And the third example is truly pathetic. It happened on MSNBC. A contributor by the name of Joy Reid said that unless you're trying to form a tax-exempt 501c4, this story isn't about you. The ignorance of that statement is breathtaking. If you're not trying to form a tax-exempt organization, it's not about you. This is how far liberalism has fallen in this country.
A couple of observations from me, your humble correspondent. Number one, Candy Crowley is the big kahuna as far as politics are concerned at CNN. Covered the debate, moderated the debate. She got criticized there for leaning toward Obama. We all remember.
Right.
It seemed that she was promoting. Now, she just didn't ask Rand Paul about, could it have been just a mistake, like Lanny Davis was saying earlier? Hey, you know, maybe they just didn't know. Okay. But she, at the end, with her comment, was almost arguing with him. He said, and Paul had a good answer. Look, the IG would have pointed it out if it was a mistake. They say it was done on purpose. So why are you sticking up for him? But Candy comes back. If she's a commentator like you, Goldberg, and me, O'Reilly, she could do that all day long. But as her chief correspondent, I mean, come on. The second thing is you can do a legitimate sidebar on the Republicans taking advantage of the story, because surely they are. But the main story has to be, is this credible? Did they do it? And who did it? Not exactly right. So I just wanted people to know there's a legitimate story on the politics end, but that's not your lead.
Page 1 of the New York Times. This is not page 27. By the way, the main story a day earlier was on page 11. So page 11 is where they tell the hard news story, and page 1 is where they give the political spin. Can I make a point about something that you did last week on your show that I think is important to all of this?
Sure.
I wrote about this in a piece on my website at bernardgoldberg.com that I hope people will look at. It's about the interview that one of your guys, Dan Banks, did on the street with people in Manhattan. It was fascinating. I mean, He interviewed people about Benghazi, and a whole bunch of them never heard of Benghazi. He interviewed a college student who's enrolled at Cal Berkeley, one of the finest schools in America, who didn't know who the Vice President of the United States is. These are precisely the kind of clueless people that Barack Obama is counting on, because the mainstream media isn't going to further this story, any of these scandals.
No, but
the American people can't count on them.
There's enough. There's enough.
As long as you have enough clueless people out there
when we have them,
who don't care, who don't know, these are the people that will enable Barack Obama to get through these as he's gotten through everything else, I believe.